I'm good. It's a strange day as Kevin and I are alone. Only two of us for the first time in a couple of months now, it seems like.
Yeah, it's definitely a long flashback.
Yeah, but it's been fun. I think having Gary and even Eric sometimes, even though he can be a headache and a bit rude, but I think Kim might have settled him down. I hope with her violent, outrageous message to him last week. But before we get started into everything I want to cover today, let's let everybody know how to get a hold of us. So we are streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. And actually starting next week, we'll be going to we will be going to Instagram too. So we're just continuing to spread the Pierce of Mind word, which is a lot of fun. And I'm excited about that. So growing as always. You can find us if you're going to listen to the audio, which I hope you guys do. If you stop by here and you listen to the show and you like it, just go and subscribe to us. Even if you don't, listen to it a lot, it helps if you guys go. And although you do watch it live, if you go and take the time to go to iTunes or Google Play or wherever you guys get your podcast from, subscribe to us, give us a good rating. It really does help. We do love people watching us live and interacting, but that's another way that you can help us grow the show, as we're constantly trying to do. If I sound like crap today, it's because I found out, I finally broke down. I've had a migraine. Kevin, this migraine's like completely, the light itself has been killing me for the last 5 days. I think I got sick when I got in my car wreck because it was raining and I had to stand out in the rain for a while.
Yeah.
But I had this terrible migraine. I felt like something was like shoving a screwdriver in my left ear. My teeth hurt. I couldn't breathe. I was sleeping no more than like 3 hours a night at a time, and it's still kind of the case with that. But so I finally go and I find out yesterday I have a double ear infection, sinus infection. I'm just all screwed up in the head. So currently it feels like my brain is trying to push my skull out of my head, and I feel like it actually might win at some point. So if I sound like shit, I do apologize, and I'm actually trying to get caught up. My whole plan for this spring break was to do 3 hours of coding every single day. Unfortunately, because it felt like my head is coming out of my skull every time I look at my computer screen, I have failed at that miserably. But that's that. Kevin, how are you doing today? What's happened with you this last week?
A whole lot. A whole lot of nothing. Had to think there for a second. It's been a long week, that's for sure. Work's been slow and everything, and
is that a good thing when work's slow though?
I mean, that's the thing. We're not really slow right now, but for my job, we're running jobs that take a long time for the line to produce the parts.
Yeah.
So I set up the jobs, so it makes it long for me because I can only set so many jobs so far in advance up, and it's just one of those. Once I get it ready, then I'm just kind of standing around waiting. Well, not really standing around. I do stuff, but it just makes the day longer because some days I just gotta find something.
I get that. It does kind of make for a longer day, right? Like just a longer work day, which definitely kind of sucks. So I did something I haven't done before. I've watched, I think, 3 or 4 pro days now. I watched Jared Allen's pro day. I watched the dude from USC, Sam Darnold. Watched him in the rain, which I guess was impressive from what everyone was saying.
You're bringing that up because I wanted to talk about
that it was impressive, or what specifically?
Here's my thing is after that everyone's got such a hard on for him because he did it in the rain, and now I've heard reports that the Browns are already starting to contract negotiate with him. It's he did it in the rain, all right, that's cool, but there's no one covering him. He's not in pads, he's not running for his life. So I mean, I just think too many people put too much stuff on certain things like that out of the pro day because it's you already know what kind of arm strength he's got. But it's when you look at it, it's hey, he looked awesome against nobody in rain, but the last time I saw him play a game, he got his ass smoked by the Buckeyes. So I mean, that's just I just think too many people, like I said, put too much emphasis on the pro days where it's like anybody. I mean, shit, Ryan Leaf looked like he was going to be a Hall of Famer at his pro day. I mean, they just put too much stuff on it. And I'm still not impressed. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm not impressed. It's like, I'm not losing it because of how he looked and throwing a football with nobody.
No, and but I just want to say we're finally live on Facebook, so hello to everybody on Facebook. You guys give us some likes. Also, share us. Let your friends know about this show and how much fun and let them enjoy the fun that you're having every Friday and Sunday with us. But to get back to, I agree. I think the pro day is just like the combine. I think there are some things you can get from the combine, but I don't think you can simply totally make a decision on a guy and understand really how. I think I'm more impressed with tape, of the guy's tape, than I am of his, how he throws the ball, like you said, without anybody blocking him or any real pressure, in-game pressure, which is still why I'm still a Baker Mayfield guy. If Cleveland's gonna, and it's interesting, and did you see with New York moving up to 3, that honestly makes the draft real interesting, especially with the other team, the Giants, trading JPP this week, and which is surprising, but a lot of people think now that's going to affect how they draft it. They're going to go for a guy like Chubbs at 2 if they stay there. But then you also have everyone saying that Buffalo's going to trade into that number 2 spot, which would really give Cleveland the greatest thing, because then if Buffalo trades the 2, Cleveland could take whoever they want at quarterback at 1, and I'm actually okay with that at that point, because there's no way Barkley's not there at 4, barring some crazy miracle.
If Buffalo, who's Buffalo guy? McCoy. Okay, I see Buffalo. I can see Buffalo skipping, but I mean the Jets. If that happens, I don't think he'll make it past the Jets.
You think the Jets would take him at 3?
Yes.
Because
they don't got a running back.
They don't have a quarterback.
Well, I mean, they've already got $25 million invested in Bridgewater and McCown. So I mean, that's still, if you even drafting a quarterback at number 3 seems still kind of crazy with that. Like, why would you sign Bridgewater?
Why would you move up to 3 if you're not taking a quarterback?
I don't know. In case someone does something stupid like that and Barkley gets there to you. I mean, because seriously, think about it. Why would you? To me, it just doesn't make any sense to sit there and sign both of those quarterbacks and then move up to draft another quarterback. Like, why not just sign? That didn't take.
Oh, that didn't take. I don't even know if I can. I don't even have Skype open. He's going to be mad. Here we go. Pearson Mind Podcast. State your question.
Hi, my name is. Hi,
Eric. What's your question tonight?
I just want to call in, say hey.
All right, is that it?
I kind of got snubbed.
You got snubbed, huh?
Yeah, I got snubbed.
Okay.
I mean, I got snubbed, and I have a grievance to file.
Okay, well, you can file that grievance, but do you have a topic for the show, or are you just going to hold it up all night?
Nah, I have a topic.
All right, go for it.
Okay, my topic is the Browns, let me tell you, are not going to be the biggest winner on draft day.
Okay,
the Giants will be.
All right.
Let me tell you why.
You at least have my interest.
The Giants are going to trade with the Browns. The Browns are going to trade up to that 2 spot, get Saquon Barkley, or they'll take Barkley number 1, and then their quarterback number 2. And then the Giants will turn around and flip that pick to the Miami Dolphins, who will in turn trade them 2 first-rounders, a second-rounder, a third-rounder, and Ryan Tannehill. And the Dolphins will become the owner of the 4th pick. What do you think about that, Sidney? I like that one.
All right, so we're gonna get to that, and in just a second. I'll get to that off the air here. Let me click this guy. So I'm using Gary's scenario of taking the idea, and then we're going to answer it while they're off the air, which I know Eric is not going to love that. But hello, Miranda. Thanks for listening and watching again. All right, we're gonna have to mute this. Oh, he's killing me. How do I mute? All right, so here's what I think. I think that's ridiculous. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think it's a beautiful dream. Like, why would Cleveland move up to 2? Unless he agrees with you that Jets are going to take Barkley at 3, which I don't. I hear they're in love with a quarterback. A lot of people say they're in love with Mayfield.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Like I said, my thing is, why would you put so much money into those 2 quarterbacks, even though it's for a year, but you draft a quarterback that high. I mean, he's still going to get a decent salary for his first year with everything. I mean, that's a lot of money wrapped up into 3 quarterbacks. I don't like if they wanted to sign Bridgewater, I could understand, because I think McCown would be a heck of a guy to coach up a rookie quarterback.
No, and I think that's why they kept him. I think he's a great guy to bring up a rookie. I think he'll be a quarterback coach at some point, like Brian Leftwich now, I think, is in Arizona. He's their quarterback coach. Yes. And I think he's going to be a guy who I totally see that in his future as a quarterback coach and maybe even a head coach in the NFL. He's a smart guy. He's talented. Yeah. But I don't think – and the thing is, here's why I don't think it's that big of a deal for them to take a quarterback is because it's not that much money, because the deal that they got the Bridgewater for is essentially is next to nothing. Like, it doesn't cost them hardly anything to have him on their roster. So I don't think that it would hurt for them to take another quarterback and see what they have there. But let's get back to what Eric was saying, and I never thought I would say that. But let's get back to what Eric was saying and the idea of somehow the Dolphins ending up at 4.
That would be interesting. Just because, for one, I don't think what he was saying the trade would be. I don't see that happening. That's just way too much. I mean, I'm not really counting Ryan Tannehill because I don't think he's that good of a quarterback.
Are you talking into your mic, sir?
Yeah.
You're awfully quiet today.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, just barely.
I don't know what's going on.
Turn your volume up on your computer.
My volume is up.
Well, I don't know. Anyhow, finish. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
But, yeah, no, that's fine. What was I saying? That's just a lot of draft picks to move up. Like, I don't know where the Dolphins are drafting from, what number they're at right now, off the top of my head. But that's just 2 first round. Like, obviously, I know you're swapping first. You're giving up next year's first. And then what do you say? 2 seconds, a third? And
yeah.
That's just a lot of draft picks. Unless they're moving up, like, from the 20s. But I don't think they're that far.
They're not.
I just think that's crazy.
No, and I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you at all. I just don't think they're going to. I don't think Cleveland's going to move up. It doesn't make sense for Cleveland to move up to 2. I mean, that's a lie. I actually don't think it's total ridiculousness. I just don't think they're going to do it. I don't think that's the mind frame. I think this coaching staff is going to, in the new GM, is dead set on staying at 1 and 4. They might trade 4 away. I could see that, but
I've heard talk about them trading back with Denver. Denver moving up to 4 and then moving to 5. Which, if they take Darnold, number 1, they're going to trade number 4.
And what sense does that make to move 1 spot? You're not going to get that much to move 1 spot.
No, but you're going to get an extra pick or 2. And, I mean, it just depends who they want.
Why not take... If you're going to see that, this is why I get frustrated, because that doesn't make sense to me, because why not just take the guy you want? Take your guy at 4.
Seriously, I have no idea. Half the stuff that happens makes no sense, but in their head it does. So,
has your opinion changed on Darnold, I guess, since these pro days?
No, I still wouldn't take him. I'm still stuck on in my opinion, Barkley's not the best prospect coming out.
See, the people say they can't hear you either. You did something different. Your volume's way different.
I have no idea. Hold on a second.
Thanks, everybody on Facebook, for letting Kevin know, the Axeman, know that he is unable to be heard. And I think everyone wants to hear the Axeman and what his opinions.
Yeah, so I have no idea. Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, but it sounds really like barely. It is really like quiet. Like I could hear you messing with your jack. This is top shelf podcasting, everybody.
I have a feeling. Does that help at all?
No, but I guess we'll have to run with it.
Because it says low system resources may affect your audio quality. Try closing some applications. So I think they're telling me I can't watch the basketball game.
Oh, no.
And I'm not okay with it.
Can't you watch it on your phone?
I don't know what else. I'm trying to see if I can.
Sorry, everybody, for the technical difficulties here. Hey, Mr. Benjamin Smith, how you doing today, sir? It's been a long time since I talked to Ben. You can't hear anything? This is what happens when you're running a live show. Shit can go crazy fast. It can go south in a heartbeat. I think it was Eric. I think Eric messed you up. 'Cause that's kind of when I lost your sound, is when he called.
Can you hear me?
No, it's the same. I don't know what you did, but it's fine. We'll have to power through. I can read your lips, though. You said F. Hello, Aaron. Jamie, is everybody really quiet or just Kevin? Because I feel like I can hear me really well, and according to the our recording software, I'm coming across super hot. I mean, it's probably because I'm awesome. Kevin's coming across low. And you're always a little lower than me, but I just adjust that in post as I've been learning new techniques. But, yeah. I don't know. I just run with it, man. We'll have to figure it out later.
Hey, I can't hear.
Now you can't hear? All right. It's going exactly as I planned.
Hey, I'll be right back.
All right. So, Garrett, and I can hear you? All right, Kevin's going to come back, hopefully. We'll see what he has to do. That was Kevin Tenney. Now it's just me. To go back to... You can't hear me, Jason? Are you serious? No. What is going on? I don't know what I did differently, but... All right, thanks, Jamie. Mr. DeForest, hope you're doing good tonight. No violence outbreaks, hopefully. No Gary tonight. I know some gals are wondering where Gary is. Gary decided that he would get axed by the Axeman. Took the night off to do some family stuff. He will be back. He'll be back next week. If you can't hear me, I'm sorry. We're trying to fix whatever happened. Not sure exactly what went down. But I am here. And, yeah, that's all I can say. So... What's Eric's talk about the Jets, the Dolphins somehow getting up to 4? I don't think that's going to happen. But we'll never know. We got 33 days till the draft, and I can't wait for that. We're going to do a mock draft here in a couple of weeks. I'm looking for a handful of people. So if you're interested, I am looking for a handful of people. Damn you, Jason. I'm looking for a handful of people to come on the show, and I'm going to give everybody a couple of teams that you'll be responsible for, and we're going to do a mock draft, 1 through 32, the whole first round. I've already decided I'm taking the Browns, so I'll be picking at 1 and 4 and a couple other teams. Probably ensure that Kevin has the Steelers. Gary is going to be left out, and he's probably going to hate my guts that he doesn't have the Browns, but he'll be all right. So if you're interested in doing that, hit me up. Either message me on Facebook, message us on Twitter, hit us up on Instagram, or you can actually go and email us at pierceofmindpodcast@gmail.com. But it should only take like an hour, maybe an hour and a half of your time, and I think it would be a lot of fun just getting a lot of people. Maybe Jason, you could come on, and you could, one of the teams you can have is the Bears. You could draft for them. I think that would be fun. But we're just trying to do a mock draft, and I don't want just the three of us to do all the teams, so I figure if I can get 4 or 5 people to do a couple of teams and pick, and just take a couple of minutes for each pick and let us know why you picked that player at that position for that team. Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun and interesting to do. What else do we got going on? Obviously, I am sick today, so again, I apologize because this sucks. Have a double ear infection and a sinus infection, so winning all the way around. As my wife will tell you, I have a man cold. I am the biggest wuss when I'm sick. I can't help it. I want to change it. I want to be better. But I can't. I'm just a big wuss. I can't deal with being sick. I hate being sick. I hate being uncomfortable. And the last week has been ridiculously bad because I simply cannot breathe. My head hurts. Like looking at my computer for the past week, today's the first day I've actually been able to look at my screens for more than a couple of minutes and not have a terrible migraine. So hopefully that continues, because I do got to catch up on some schoolwork before spring breaks up and try to finish this semester strong, as we will be at the halfway point after this semester and moving forward toward our goal of getting that computer science degree and then getting a fancy job where I don't have to sling titanium anymore. But we'll see. We'll see where we end up. What do you guys got going on out there? I'm without a co-host, so that's kind of weird. I haven't been without a co-host since, oh man, I think Kevin started coming on midway through last year or something. Yeah, I agree, Jason. Jamie, I agree. All of us men are kind of wusses when we're sick. I hate to admit it, but it's the facts. Like, we are terrible at being uncomfortable. We're terrible at not feeling good. And my wife reminds me constantly what a big wuss I am. So I'm trying. Anyway, so yeah, I haven't had a co-host, I should say, since, man, almost over a year now. Kevin's kind of been coming on every Friday with you guys. And now Kim's coming on Sundays. We've had our good friend Eric on a few times, which is always fun. I know everybody loves Eric. He's the most popular guy on the podcast. Had our good friend Chris Chastain on. Hey, on Facebook, James Eccleston. How you doing, buddy? So, I seen James actually posted something on Facebook, a link that there's a new arcade bar, I guess it is, coming, I think it's already open in Salt Lake. I think it opened today or tomorrow. I think it's kind of a cool idea for a place for adults who want to go and kind of have a couple of drinks and relive the youth of playing some Mortal Kombat or some Tecmo Super Bowl if they have that arcade game, or NBA Jam. I think it's a really cool idea. Yeah, so he says it's open. I know it's here in Salt Lake. It's it sounds like a really cool concept. I think Kim and I are going to go check it out at some point and just get a vibe for something like that. I think it's something that this area, I think it will thrive here. I think it's something, like I said, adults like myself, it's a good way to have some fun times. So looking forward to checking that out here in Salt Lake City. Also, Kevin still hasn't come back. I think that I've literally been officially left hostless, which makes me sad. I am lonely when I'm all here by myself. what else we got going on? So we did watch, like I said, we did watch the pro days, which I've never done before. This is where I think I'm either getting old or bored or something, because I've watched now 4 or 5 of these pro days with quarterbacks, and all it is, it's like a half hour of them throwing 45 or 50 passes. Doesn't really teach you anything. I don't feel like you learn anything from watching these, but it is what it is. I guess also while we wait for Kevin. I've been calling Kevin Gary nonstop. I can't imagine he likes that at all. But I also wanted to talk a little bit about, since I don't have Kevin here, just the idiot Trump. We're going to get into this Sunday probably a little bit heavier, but Trump is like going through cabinet members like most people shoot through underwear in this country. I seen a list watching MSNBC the other night where he just is like, had like 50 plus. It's like constantly people are switching. What am I posting pictures of, Jamie? Kevin, you're back, I think.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I guess.
For whatever reason, it's not using my microphone. It's saying it's using the computer, whatever.
Can you? And you can't switch it?
Switch what?
You should be able to go in and switch it. It's a setting.
On where? Like, I have no idea. I tried, and last time I tried that, I couldn't hear you at all.
Oh.
I didn't know if you could hear me.
Yeah, if you go to your control panel, it's a setting. But we'll get through today.
On control panel on like computer? Or
Yeah, if you go through your control panel and go through your sound. So.
All right. Well, I mean, I can do that while we're talking. So.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, so we're gonna get more into the Trump stuff on Sunday, guys. But I think it's hilarious how this guy's going through. His lead attorney just dropped off, and now it looks like he actually might make the mistake of sitting down and having a deposition with Mueller, which I think will be an absolute fail and the beginning of the end of his presidency. So should be interesting how that turns out, and we will get to that when Sunday, because I know how much Kevin loves talking politics with me. Dude, I actually had something, and now I just like, it's just a clusterfuck today.
Yeah, I know, sorry.
It's not completely your fault. I had something, but yeah, no, the Trump thing's hilarious because I just think all these people, like he's now got his third national security advisor in 14 months. That's ridiculous. Like in any presidency, I think if you're switching people that quick, that shows you have a problem. He can't keep, his lawyers are quitting now because they're like, he's not listening to us, so we're freaking out. And now he's got this guy going in as national security advisor, that John Bolton guy, who is a douchebag. I watched some stuff on him. They had video on him from like 2005. He's full, like he's like Trump before Trump. He's just full douche. So
I'm pretty sure Trump's always been like this. Just now that he's president, like it's easier to see.
Yeah, but the problem is he's president. And so he's douchiness. Like he threatened not to sign the latest budget extension because he wasn't getting his border wall money. He's only getting like $1 billion of the 25 he asked for.
Well, I mean, that isn't the only reason. Come on now.
It was one of the on the DACA because they didn't.
That's the big one, I think. Like, don't get me wrong, it's probably 50-50. I'd like to think it's 50-50. Even though it's probably like 80-20 because of the stupid wall. But, yeah, I don't. Who knows?
Yeah, DACA should have been taken care of. I'll give him that, but I think he wants to handle it completely the wrong way. And then, what's it called? The wall. Like, whatever happened to the whole, like, we're not going to pay for the wall?
Hey, when you're trying to win, you got to say whatever you got to say to get you to win.
Sure.
That's plain. That's what everybody does. Like, if you really thought that we weren't going to pay for the wall, like, seriously, you want to make Mexico? You do know they're coming over here and getting jobs because there's no money down there. Like, how are they going to pay for it? They gonna send us like shitty bottled water or what?
No, and I totally get that. I totally get that. I knew, like, and that's the problem. Is like I feel like we all kind of failed. If anyone actually, here's the thing: whether you want the wall or not, which by the way, the wall is stupid. It won't work. But if you want the wall, it will not. It will not work. But if you thought that Mexico, if you honestly said, "Hey," if you really sat down and go, "Yep," and I know people believe this because I had like conversations with people who were like, "Oh, we're not going to pay for that wall. Those Mexicans are going to pay for the wall. The Mexicans aren't going to pay for the flipping wall."
No, that's just kind of funny. Like I never thought anyone seriously thought that we would not have to pay for that wall.
Oh yeah, like it really happened. Like people truly believed that like I had conversations with people who really thought that we were going to pay for that they were going to pay for they were like, I mean, like they were hardened like, yes, we're paying for the wall. And it's completely any moron should have realized that it's not going to be the case.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. What else happened in sports this week, man? I'm having like a complete just brain fart right now.
Yeah, I know. Is that any better or no?
No, you still sound like shit.
All right, I don't know. So anyway, as long as you can hear me.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone else can, but I can. So that's all that matters to me.
I know the big thing I forgot to talk about last week was, well, I mean, we got to talk about March Madness. For one, all of our brackets are done.
Oh yeah, our brackets are screwed.
Yeah, so none of us have a chance of winning. Well, I mean, our winner that we picked is out, so they're not going to win. And I didn't check to see if any of us actually had any points left, because I was losing by 40 when my team lost. So let me check real quick, and I'll let you know.
Yeah, no, our brackets, here's the thing, but I love it, but I know a lot of other people don't. Like, I love that you have all these upsets.
So do I. And that was going to be one of my big complaints that I wanted to bring up. Oh, Gary's leading, 390, you're 370, I'm 330. But like I said, none of our picked winners are in it.
Yeah.
So where did that leave me? Oh, my complaint was like Virginia lost last week.
Yeah.
Which was obviously a huge upset that it happened because it's never happened before. And the funny thing is that Virginia has the two worst losses in college basketball history. They're the first 1 seed to lose to a 16 seed. And like in the 80s, they lost to a Division II team, which I guess no other Division I team has done, or at least a Division I school that big hasn't lost to a Division II team. So they got that going for them. But my big complaint is whatever they are, UMBC.
Yeah, the Retrievers.
Yeah, they won their conference, and this has been my thing for a while because I believe if you win your conference, you shouldn't be a 16 seed. You just shouldn't. And you shouldn't have to play in a playing game either.
If you win that's fair. I think that's fair. If you win your conference, because it's not your fault, right? It's not your fault what conference you're in.
Yeah.
So if you win that conference, no, I can't even. I wanted to like. Oh man, yeah, so Eric's giving me crap on Twitter. He said,
"I just don't think it's right that you either got to play because two of the playing games are 16 seeds, and then you got to play for a 1 seed. So, like you're in the tournament, but you're not really in the tournament. You're in a playing game. You know, I just don't. Like I said, I know you are, but I don't look at it as you are because you don't really play in the 64 because that's what it originally was. So I just think that's not right, and I understand why they do it because they don't want to stick the last 4 teams in. They always show the last 4 teams picked that barely made it in, but you barely make it in and you're 11 seed. Like that makes no sense whatsoever. But I understand you don't want to put Virginia against Syracuse, Kansas against Syracuse, first round. Like, I understand.
But here's the thing: why not? Like, if that's how like it shakes out, then so be it. Like, I get what you're saying. Like, they don't want it because you want those bigger games toward the end, right?
Yes, and you don't want. I mean, you're a 1 seed. You shouldn't have to play someone like that. I mean, you're supposed to get the easier game. Like, I understand the whole idea behind it. I don't think it's right.
No, and I totally agree with you though. Like, I don't think it's right either, and I think it should come down like however like full. Like, I completely agree. Like, if you win your conference, you should definitely not be a 16 seed. And there shouldn't be anything wrong with, guess what, if it falls out, like, these two bigger schools play each other in the early rounds, then so be it. Like, that, the better schools maybe earned a better ranking, which means they earned maybe a lesser opponent, quote unquote. Yeah. You shouldn't punish schools, because I've always hated the idea. It's just like in college football where, like, back in the day where Boise State couldn't get in to the, the real, the rankings that have a real shot at the national title game because they played in the Mountain West. Like, it's not your fault. As a player, you don't choose what conference your team plays in. Your job is to simply go out and win games. However you do that, whoever's in front of you, your job is to win. And it wasn't this last year that went undefeated in college football, and we're in the conversation for the national title game. They decided they were going to give themselves rings. Yeah. Which I think is hilarious.
Oh, it is. They even got a banner like that. I think that's so cool. They got their own banner.
What team was that?
Central Florida.
Yeah, Central Florida. But I think I know that like a lot of purists are going to say that's a douchey move, but I think it's great. Like, it's saying, hey, you got to recognize what the hell we're doing here. Like, we are a good team. We did everything we were supposed to do. We won the games we were supposed to win, and yeah, and that's it. And so when these schools, like, whether it's basketball, football, when they get dicked over and over again, like, this is why the NCAA in itself is a complete scam.
Yeah.
And
who was it I can't remember who it was they beat, but they beat a freaking Power 5 conference, the best of the best that should have never lost to them. I can't think of who the heck it was that they beat.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a scam.
Auburn. I think they beat Auburn. SEC. And that's the best conference in college football, everyone thinks.
I think it's the Big Ten now, but yeah, for the long time.
I agree. But, I mean, they still say how they're so great. It's like, you do know Alabama's the only good school you've got in there every year, right?
Yeah, but the problem is Alabama's good every year, so they get, like, extra weight.
Yeah.
Eric tweeted, but, I mean, I just wanted to make an appearance, was in a good mood and everything. So I feel like he thought he was going to be well-behaved today, and we failed him by not letting him come on because he was going to be well-behaved.
Hey, we needed I'm not going to say that, but I'm just...
I think it's good that we actually get to do just you and me for 1 week. It's been a while.
I know it has, and I've been thinking that too. But, just like, I figured something was going to come up sooner or later where we were going to get that shot. So,
well, you just got to tell me. I'll tell Gary to F off. You hear that, Gary? Kevin says you're too much. You got to go. The Axeman has showed up again. Tell your wife, by the way, I'm still upset I have not seen the Pierce of Mind podcast shirt on yourself or Whitney. And,
I gotta find it. I put it in
like, come on. Like, you've used this wash story for weeks.
No,
like,
I got it washed.
Do you have,
just put it away.
First off, do you think I would send you a dirty shirt? Like, I feel like I'm offended right from the word go.
Whenever I get a new shirt, I always wash it.
All right.
It's a habit.
All right. I'll let this excuse roll.
I know Winnie's is gonna be big, but
Oh yeah, I figured it would be, but I wanted to get it. That's the smallest I could get.
Yo, I know.
Trust me, because I have another niece or nephew coming soon, and I wanted to get them like a baby one, and the company that I work with for my shirts, they can't get them that small. So I'm trying to figure out how to get a onesie with the logo on it. And, yeah, so work in progress.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll get that out, hers, and get it on. And I'll put mine on too. But, yeah, we'll get you that picture.
I did watch some wrestling this week, by the way, and found out that Daniel Bryan got released, ready to back to wrestling. No one really probably cares about that but me.
I saw it on Facebook.
But here's the thing. I'm not a fool. Like, I know wrestling is fake, and I know my wife hates it, and I know that most people think it's retarded. I'm totally appreciative of those feelings, but I love it. I love the stories, and people like Daniel Bryan. Like, I like following, like, their backstories, and like, this is a guy who, if you think of any other sport or any other activity where you respect somebody's, like, just drive and determination to go from, like, Little League to the great, like, to the, like, Super Bowl, for instance, and where they were never expected to be that level of an athlete or that level of a competitor in their sport. And you translate that now to this guy, Daniel Bryan, who's, like, wrestling in, like, front of, like, 50 people in, like, VFW halls, and had this passion and was always told he was too small, so forth and so on. And then he comes up, and now he's like he was, even as just this playing this GM role, right? He's like one of the biggest stars in the sport. People love him. And so to me, like, I loved watching that he finally got, because this guy fought for it, because they weren't going to let him wrestle ever again because he had basically was told that he was had concussion issues, and he just fought it and kept getting third and fourth and fifth opinions. So I love it. I love seeing that he's back, and I do love wrestling, especially now it's WrestleMania season. And I know it's all scripted, and I know who's going to win, but it's like male soap operas, and I'm totally into it. I can't help it.
So it's supposed to be the big WrestleMania match this year.
Ooh, so that's the thing is, honestly, this WrestleMania is kind of shaping up to be kind of weak. So obviously it's Ronda Rousey's debut in the WWE, and she's tagging with the other Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle to go against Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, the power couple of the WWE. And I'm guessing Daniel Bryan will have a match now that there's a lot of things says that he's going to have a tag match where him and Shane McMahon will tag against these two guys I really love as bad guys, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They're awesome bad guys.
I've heard of Owens, I never heard of the Zayn guy.
Yeah, they kind of came up together. Actually, those two and Daniel Bryan all came up together through this, like, the indies and whatnot. But it looks like they're going to have a tag match at WrestleMania. The Undertaker's probably going to have his last match against John Cena. I guess that's probably kind of a big deal. But overall, I'm not that excited about WrestleMania.
I thought Taker was done already.
Well, everyone thought Taker was done. And then the last couple of weeks, Cena's been calling him out. And it's going just from, like, because I read, like, the dirt sheets, the ESPN for wrestling pages. And it looks like Taker's going to have a match at WrestleMania he hasn't officially said yet, but it's kind of the storyline. Looks like it's that they've already got him committed for WrestleMania. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting because I'm usually pretty excited about, like, some of these, like, legends coming back, or they usually have, like, a really good just story that they've built up. Like last year, even though I knew it was going to be Cena asking his girlfriend to marry him, which is a whole deal, right, in the storyline world. But the fact, like, this guy, The Miz, who actually got his fame from The Real World, like, I think the first or second season. He's from Cleveland. I think his name's Michael Mizanin, but he's from Cleveland, and he's stuck around now for, like, 15 years. He's kind of been able to make it, and he's kind of one of the second-tier top guys in the second tier of wrestlers, as we're getting some wrestler education here at the Pearson Mind today. But last year, him and his wife, his real life wife, were making fun of Cena and his girl. And the storyline, it was freaking hilarious. So it made for a fun, like, you were anticipation for the match at WrestleMania, even though I knew exactly how it was going to go down. It was so, like, you know how you watch a TV show and you know how what's going to happen. I knew it. I knew, like, how the ending was going to be, but I thought it was a great story. Speaking of that, I'm going to go a little off topic here. I watched a new TV show that I think you should check out. And I'm not usually into these sci-fi shows, but I watched Krypton last night.
I recorded it. I haven't watched it yet.
I think you'll like it. I actually enjoyed it. I think it's got some potential to have some good backstory for the Superman deal. But I've been watching the previews on as they come up on Facebook or whatever, and or on the TV, and I think it's going to be a really good show. I watched the first episode. Check it out. And then do you have Amazon?
I just realized because I have Amazon Prime. I just realized I got Amazon
Oh,
Video or whatever.
yeah. You need to check out. You need to catch up season 1 of Sneaky Pete. I think you'll love that show.
I just started it. Seriously, I just watched the first episode because once I found out I had it, my main goal was to watch the Man in the High Tower.
Is that any good? I didn't watch it.
Dude, I was hooked. I watched 2 seasons in a week. I was pounding that show down because my whole goal was I wanted to finish that and I wanted to watch the Sneaky Pete, which I started. And then I'm just gonna cancel Amazon Prime, and then whenever season 3 comes out, then I'll get it back for a month or whatever. But that's what my goal is. But yeah, it's an interesting show because the whole point, which is why I like it, but I'm kind of lost because I can't figure out because it's based on if the U.S. lost World War II, and so the Nazis and Japanese take over America.
Yeah.
So the Nazis own the East Coast all the way over, I don't know, probably Utah or somewhere in that area, and then it's the neutral zone, and then the Japanese got California, that whole coast, and just a little bit out till it gets to the neutral zone, which they haven't really explained the neutral zone. I don't know, because they talk about people going there, but I don't know if it's off limits. I have no idea.
Is that what's left of real America or what?
I'm guessing, but I'm not positive. And it's just because, they said, they just talk about oh well, your sister went to the neutral zone, and that's it.
See,
it's what the fuck's the neutral zone?
I would recommend keeping the Prime because we use it a lot here, but also there's some killer that Sneaky Pete was one I just came across, ended up being a phenomenal show. And I actually think last year it had the highest rating on Rotten Tomatoes for any show ever. It was the first show to have a 99 on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's pretty good.
So there's some really good random shows on there.
Yeah, just from the first episode, it's got a lot of people in there that I like. So but yeah, I said I want to watch that, so I got to start watching that more. I finished the High Tower Sunday, I think, or Monday. So I kind of took a little bit of a break, and then I watched Pete yesterday. And but what was I gonna say? Oh, for the show, the High Tower. A lot of the shows based in New York and San Francisco. San Francisco is the big hub for the Japanese, and then New York's for the Nazis. So it's when it starts off, you see the American flag, and it's well, I thought the Nazis ruled. Well, here they kept the American flag. They took the stars out, and they got a swastika.
Oh man!
Instead of the stars, and then even the Statue of Liberty is wearing a Nazi thing on the arm, and I was that's pretty interesting. But it's I said, it's an interesting show. But the part that's kind of confusing is you watch these films. Well, the guy will get these films, and you have your rebellion groups.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get the films out to the public because they show. There's certain films that show America winning World War II, and then there's ones that are kind of in the future, they know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it's one of those split. I can't think of the word. Not split reality, but split split universe.
Yeah.
One of those kind of things. So that's why I'm kind of waiting to see how it goes, because the way it ended, season 2 ended, it's just yeah, it's a cliffhanger, and it makes me think that kind of stuff even more. So
I might have to check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
I've got that, and then what else? There's another show. It's kind of that time of year. I'm waiting for Suits to come back here next week, and then which is going to be weird because if anyone's watched Suits, basically the two big characters that I like, Mike and Meghan Markle's character, I don't know her name on the show right offhand, but those two are actually leaving after this season, so it should be interesting to see how that show evolves. Did you see the new Karate Kid show coming out on YouTube Red?
No.
Oh, okay.
A thing saying it. I just thought it was a joke.
Nope. I highly recommend anybody who is watching or listening to us live or whatever, if you listen to this later, go to YouTube, YouTube Cobra Kai, and it's a new show, and it's got both the Karate Kid and the blonde kid that he kicks in the face in the first one are starring in it. And it actually is cool because from what I can tell, like, Danielson's kind of a douchebag now because, like, fame has went to his head a little bit. Yeah. And the guy he kicked in the face is kind of, like, coming back up, and he's kind of the good guy in this one from what the early... But it's a half-hour show every week. I almost want to try YouTube Red now just to watch this. Starts May 2nd. It's called Cobra Kai. Go to YouTube, watch the trailers. It actually looks pretty good. And then Kim noticed that they're making another Napoleon Dynamite, which I'm not even sure what the hell that's going to be about.
See, I thought that was a joke, too. There's so many things I see, and I'm just like, it's got to be a joke.
No, it was on IMDb. Like, if it's on IMDb, it's legit.
Yeah.
Like, there's some shows I'm really excited about from the past. Like, I'm looking forward to Top Gun 2 next year.
Is that finally going to happen?
Yeah, I think they're filming it right now.
Because what was the other show I was going to ask you about? Have you been watching on USA the Unsolved Biggie Tupac thing?
No, because just the previews look stupid, so I couldn't bring myself to get into it.
I've been watching it. I'm pretty interested in it. I like it. I didn't really like either one of their music, so I mean, it doesn't really matter. But it's definitely the way they're doing the show. I like it.
See, I love their music.
They each got a song or two that I like, but I was never.
Oh man, Biggie, I probably am with you that Biggie probably has maybe 3 or 4 songs that I'm really into, and the rest I could do with or without. But Tupac, I mean, to me, he's right up there with, like, or I should say Eminem's right up there with him on just lyrically, because Tupac was more socially conscious, I think, than Biggie. And I think I've learned that I buy in more to musicians that are, like, have a social aspect to their music. Like Rage Against the Machine, place like that. But Tupac was, like, really about making the world a better place. Like, obviously, he had his, like, we'll call it gangster lifestyle, and he was what he was. But at the end of the day, like, he wanted to make the world a better place. He wanted to make everyone just kind of see each other better. And his music is fucking phenomenal. Like, I don't think I've listened to anything of his that I don't really enjoy. But I want to watch that show maybe someday. I know that I see the preview for this week's, and I guess they're starting to aim toward, like, it was the cops had some involvement.
Well, that's been the kind of the way it's been going since partially way through the first one, towards the end of the first one. They started hitting at it. But yeah, it's definitely a strong presence. Because I guess, like, hey, what are you doing?
The cat has made its appearance.
Yeah. The one main cop that was on the investigation, like, that's where he was leaning towards, because they were only supposed to investigate the Biggie murder, and because that was in LA, and like, stuff just started pointing that there were cops that were working for death row records, that's bodyguards and security and stuff like that, and yeah, so it's because that's, like, the point of the show is, like, it's supposed to be happening in 2006. They put this task force together to reinvestigate it because the main guy was releasing his stuff, and he was saying that there were dirty cops, and they were the ones who did it. So they put this task force together, which Josh Duhamel is, like, in the show. He's the main guy for that task force. So they keep showing more flashbacks. So you'll go back to 90, whatever, when everything happened, and they'll come back like 2006. I guess that's when supposedly they reopened it or reinvestigated or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's interesting, and if you like them, I think you probably like it more. But I'm just interested in it.
See, I'm interested in it because Kim and I always get in these conversations that, like, I don't think people like Elvis died when they said he did. I don't think Tupac. If Tupac actually got murdered and was dead, then that dude has put out more, like, new music than any human being ever.
Yeah.
I understand that people put stuff on tape and they just don't release it for a while, like building toward albums. That guy has something like 20 albums since he died. He is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And so I always say I don't know that Biggie. I'm pretty confident he got murdered. For whatever reason, Tupac, I'm not sold on it. Did you see? There's also that thing on it's got an Ice Cube. It's more of like a real live, like they're really trying to find out who killed. It's on Showtime, I think. But it's Ice Cube and some other detectives going around trying to like figure out these mysteries of who killed these two.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
I'm have to look for it.
Yeah, it's. I wish I could remember what it's called, but it's funny because those shows, like obviously you have the one you're watching, which is more. I'm sure it's based on some reality that they found somewhere, but it's a scripted show. But the Ice Cube one, and Ice Cube was like a legit gangster back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, which is funny to watching him. Not Ice Cube. I'm sorry. Well, I was getting my ices mixed up. Ice-T. Ice-T is on this show. The original pimp himself.
That's when they were growing up.
Huh?
They were both pretty big gangsters.
Oh, yeah, no. But I always get those two mixed up because, I got to think, do I need iced tea or do I need ice cubes in my tea? That's how I got to try to diversify them.
That's funny.
But, yeah, no. But I still like it. I watched maybe an hour of that one, and it was it's interesting because I love all these, like, conspiracies. And speaking of conspiracies, next week, I think on Saturday, we're going to have a special extra episode with Matt Mondragon coming back, possibly, and Nick Manzanera's returning for basically a show about conspiracy theories. And this would fit perfectly in with that because, Nick loves this stuff. But I think like a lot of the stuff like the JFK, all these murders that we have no clue, I think we actually have a clue. But we pretend not to have a clue and we pretend to search for. Like that little girl that got killed. I think we're all pretty sure her parents did it.
Well, I know the mother's dead. Is the dad, or is he? I think the dad's still alive.
Is the mom dead? I didn't know the mom died.
I think the mom died from cancer.
Well,
I remember right.
From everything I've read or heard on that, like they totally did it. I don't know why you would ever do that to your own kid, but I'm very confident that they did it. The evidence points strongly. Actually, what the evidence points strongly is that her little brother did it, and they covered it up.
Hey, if you're interested in that, you should listen to the last podcast on the left. They have a show, an episode about that. It might be 2 episodes, and they go through. And it's interesting the way they do it because I listen to it because they do a lot of conspiracy. Like there's alien stuff on there, which I know you'd be interested in.
Oh yeah.
They usually skip over that and like killers, and they'll go over like a lot of the big killers. They'll go through like their whole crime spree, but they give more of a background and everything. It's not just like, hey, John Wayne Gacy killed 33 people. He was gay, dressed as a clown. It's not just that. Like they go back into like his childhood, like how bad it was or good it was, and stuff they think that happened that made him go that way. Like it's really interesting. And the Benet one was really good because they went down and they went through all the facts and the story behind it.
Yeah.
They went through and went about all the crap that the cops did wrong. And then at the end of the thing, they give each one says who they think did it after all the evidence that they got.
Yeah.
So they'll sit there and they'll say who they thought did it. And it's really good. I like it the way they do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. What's called Last Podcast on the Left.
Yes.
Yeah, I am gonna check that out. I'm always looking for new podcasts, more stuff that I can listen to in the vehicle that my son and wife hate. They've been pretty good. We've come to like this nice little compromise. Like usually if we're going somewhere one way, we listen to my radio, what I want to listen to. And then on the other way, we let them play their music. And it's not that I don't enjoy music. It's just that I don't enjoy music. I don't. Like, today's music is not good. So a lot of the stuff, if I'm listening to music, it's usually from like 99 or earlier most of the time. There are a handful of songs like Imagine Dragons stuff that I like now, or that new Eminem and Ed Sheeran song. But for the most part, I'm listening to podcast or I'm listening to Sirius XM. That's just me.
Yeah, I listen to podcast unless I have Miranda and Winnie in the car.
And then you're listening to like Barney and Friends?
No, I have country on.
Oh.
I like country. Every once in a while, I'll be like, "Do you want country or rock?" And she'll be like, "Rock," and I'm like, "All right." So I'll turn it on the Wolf, and she'll just be back there just nodding her head to the song, because you can always tell when she likes the song. She'll start dancing or singing or bobbing her head. Because today we went out to the Southern Park Mall, and who was it? Foo Fighters? I think Foo Fighters came on. I just happened to look in my mirror, and she was just going to town. And so I was laughing. I was like, "Are you banging your head?" And then she was like, really started banging her head off the side of her car seat. And I'm like, "That's not what I meant. Let's calm down."
Now, are you listening to old country or the crap they call country now?
Both.
Oh, see, I can't deal with the stuff they call country today. It's terrible.
I like most of it, but yeah, it's not. I know it's not country.
It's pop with a cowboy hat on.
Yeah, it's country pop, country rock, country rap. But,
Okay, country rap that doesn't even make sense.
Oh, I know it doesn't, but that's what Sam Hunt is, you know. So, but no, I will listen to that, because the bad thing is she really likes Sam Hunt. Whenever his songs come on, she gets all excited. I'm like, "Oh, that's so bad." But now we have a station where they play all the old country up until like the 90s, early 2000s, and it's like they play like really old stuff, and she's not really big into that, but she really likes like George Strait and Garth Brooks. So I'm like, "Well, that's good." It's like I feel like I did something right.
Yeah. Ugh, I can't do the new stuff. But that's what's going to be, right? Kids today. It's funny. I think one of the best South Park episodes ever is when they have the parents kind of listening to their stuff, right? The parents understand their era of music, but when their kids play, they hear just blah, 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 blah. And the same thing when the kids hear like the parents' music, all they hear is blah, 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 blah. And I think that's how it is now that I'm getting old. I just think that's part of being old. That and constantly being sick, which have something to do with constantly being fat, but I don't know. I'm sure they have something to do with one another. But yeah, I don't know. I listen to the podcast, so anytime I can get a new one, because some of them have grown old on me. Like some of them are too just repetitive. They're covering like, for instance, if it's an alien podcast, they're covering the same alien thing every single week. I can't deal with that. I need fresh alien stuff.
A bunch of different stuff. And like the only one, I've listened to two. I listened to one about Roswell, which I thought was pretty interesting. And they had one other one, and I was just like halfway through it, like, I'm not a big alien person, so I'm just like, I'll wait till the next killer.
How does that not even interest you? I get that you don't. I've accepted that you don't believe in it, even though I don't understand how you can't. But how does it not even like?
I've never really been interested in it. I don't know how to explain it. But the one good thing about, because how you're saying a lot are the same for stuff like that, which I agree they are. But these guys, one of them was actually, one's an actor or something like that. Like he was in, crap, I can't remember what the show was he was in, but it was real big, late 90s on NBC. Heroes? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I wouldn't have watched that show, but I think I know what you're talking about.
But they put a joke spin to it. Like, they'll make jokes, and there are times where they'll make jokes, and you'll laugh, and then you'll stop and be like, I don't think I should laugh at that joke. And so, I mean, it works out. Definitely for you, it works out for me. So, but yeah, I think you would really like that show. And they just had, the last 2 weeks was Casey Anthony. So that was pretty entertaining.
Well, there's not a mystery there. Like, her mom admitted to, like, murdering her. Or am I thinking of the wrong story?
Casey Anthony's one where her daughter just happened to be missing for a month and she didn't know.
But then she admitted to killing her.
Yeah, she never admitted.
Yeah, she did. I thought she did because she got off, but she got off for being crazy, not because she didn't do it.
No, she got found not guilty.
Oh, I'm gonna Google. Yeah, no, but due to insanity or some other it wasn't. I'm gonna have to.
Not guilty.
More to come next week.
Neglect they had so many different things that could have possibly been that they just didn't take care of it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to recheck this because I'm gonna do some Google research next week.
Well, you go ahead. I just finished listening to the thing.
Well, I feel like they got some of their story wrong, or you misheard them or something.
No, I know the story, so I mean.
Oh, and Kevin, you know nothing.
There's that one, but I think you would like the 9/11 one. They go through that. That's a 3-parter, and they go through all the conspiracy theories that are behind it.
I would be interested because there's a couple of those that have almost sold me that it was not fake, but it was an inside job.
Yeah, so that's interesting because that's one of the couple of the big conspiracy theories. But they explain all of it. So they explain how all the conspiracy theories are wrong, and how do they explain?
Oh, see, I don't want to go too deep in this because I can't. I want to. Oh, see, I'm going to listen to that one because I want to know how they
snapping or whatever. They explain that.
How they? Wait, what did you say?
About the beam snapping?
No, about the multiple explosions that people have recorded that look like it wasn't one of those implosions, like when you implode a stadium.
That was one of the things. I listened to that. That was like a year ago. I listened to it, so I don't remember. I know they debunked all of it.
Oh, we'll see.
I mean, yeah, listen to it.
I'm gonna listen to it. It's gonna happen. It's to bring more.
They got a lot of good ones. I listened to most of the serial killer ones because they're just interesting.
Yeah, I'm waiting for How to Make a Murderer season 2.
Yeah, what's going on? They've been talking about
it's supposed to come out this year at some point, but I know that case is like obviously the kid got off.
But I don't think they've released him yet either.
Yeah, I think they're fighting it, which is BS because no matter what you think about if this guy actually killed this girl, and I'm probably confident that he had something to do with it. That being said, you can't tell me that the police department didn't mess with evidence, and they didn't. That kid's confession was BS. That was completely BS.
I know, poor kid just wanted to go watch WrestleMania.
Yeah, and so he's like, "Oh, when do I leave? I get to leave now? It's over." So that was coerced, but then the whole thing in that guy's house, the cops with finding the key that was placed there by a cop. No one will ever tell me otherwise. The bullets, casings that hadn't been found for 9 months of searches and all of a sudden popped up.
My big thing about that was, don't get me wrong, I think the uncle killed her. I can't figure out how he did it. But my big thing is their whole thing was that he raped and killed her in the bedroom and then burned her outside.
But there was no blood spatter.
Exactly. He's not that smart. He's not going to run out and buy a brand new mattress. He's not going to be able to get all that blood cleaned out. There's no way. So it's their whole idea of what happened to me is completely crazy. If they had had something where I'd have been all right, a moron could have done it, then okay. Then I'd be there's your guy. But when you're oh, there's blood all over the walls and the floor and the ceiling, but we couldn't find any traces of blood or bleach that he cleaned it. So I'm there's no way he's that smart.
Oh no, I totally agree. I am, yeah. I think my problem is you have to find him not guilty for the reason that they said that it was the police tampered with evidence. And I think they even tampered with the blood vial that they found open. I think he probably did kill her. Unfortunately, I think the police kind of screwed themselves because I think they wanted him because he sued them and they hated him because he won the suit. That they wanted him back in prison. And the best way to do it is to ensure that you find him guilty by making sure all the evidence points that way. Or, I don't know, so many things. But yeah. That being said, do you have anything else today, sir?
Yes. I finally remembered it.
All right.
Did you happen to watch on Fox last week or 2 weeks ago the OJ thing?
No, I want to. I've heard about this. Where he's what did he say if
If he did it, how he would have done it.
And he essentially admitted to doing it.
Yeah. The crazy thing is I actually remember when they were originally 2006. They tell you it was recorded in 2006.
Yeah.
Because it was going to be a big thing on Fox, and because the book came out, If I Did It, but the reason it got scrapped was because he lost those civil suits, and he had never paid any money, either one of the families.
Yeah.
And when the guy who got killed, Goldman, is that his name?
Yeah, Ron Goldman. Well, that's his dad, but yeah.
When his family found out that the book was coming out, they got the rights to it because they were going to get the money for it. So the dad changed it where it says, I did it, and like if is really small in the I. And OJ was so pissed about it, he canceled it. So they already had it recorded and everything, but he called it off, so they never showed it.
See, I heard that another reason I heard is it was basically like Fox was getting crap from people that they were going to show it. So that was another reason that moved them not to show it. But from what I could tell, I've heard snippets, but essentially this guy's like, oh, I dropped the glove, or I blacked out for a second, and then when I came to, there was blood everywhere. Not if, or there would be. He was literally like, I did this.
Well, he started out the first part of it, he was like, hypothetically, if I did it,
yeah,
blah, blah, blah. Then he'd be like, hypothetically. And then finally he just got to the part where he was just like you said, he was like, I blacked out. And then he like made up some guy, Charlie. So a lot of people think he has split personalities because he's like, my buddy Charlie's like, what the fuck did you do? We gotta get rid of the knife. But I'm just like, what is going on here? But yeah, it's crazy because he's sitting there and he's like, and like he changes some of the parts of the story. Because the interesting part was it was originally an hour show. Well, they made it a 2-hour show, and they had a retired FBI investigator there. They had the lady who did the interview for the original show, one of Nicole's friends, and then that Darden,
yeah,
the lawyer. He was there, and like I feel so bad for him because he's sitting there and they would ask him questions, and he's like, "No doubt on my mind, he's guilty." And it's like, how bad does he feel that he knows that he fucked that whole case up?
Oh yeah,
you know, and he's there, but it's. I don't want to say funny, but just like the way he did it, and I'm just like, obviously he's full of himself. Like he's always been, because he's the greatest, and you know nothing's better.
Well, now he's untouchable for that.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And it's like there's just the stories, like when he would tell it, and like when he was talking about like stabbing Nicole and then like cutting her throat, he just starts laughing. He's like, "Man, there was blood everywhere," and it's like that crazy sadistic laugh you see in the movies.
Yeah.
The killer does a killing, and I'm just like, holy crap.
No, that guy's a scary dude.
Oh yeah, and then like he told a story, like he was trying to make it like him beating his wife was okay, and it was just like a misunderstanding, you know. And like he would just sit there and be like, well, the one time when the cops came, it was because of this. And
well, that's what people like that do, though, right?
oh yeah, that I know it is. But you know, and that's what they even said, because they're like, well, he's just trying to make it where it's right in his eyes, and he thinks he didn't do anything wrong. And the one story he told where, I don't know if it was the first time the cops came or what it was, but it was one of the times the cops came, and it was before they got separated. And he was saying that, because they're like...
Oh, dude, West Virginia's getting their ass kicked.
Oh, yeah, game's over. They're like, what about the time with the baseball bat? And he's like, yeah, that was a complete misunderstanding. He's like, we were having a heated discussion.
Yeah,
in the driveway.
I did hear that part.
But the part that was great was, well, not great, but you know what I mean. But he's sitting there and he's like, I was leaning against the car and I was tapping the baseball bat against the rim. And she's like, don't do that. You're going to damage my car. And he's like, oh, your car. The car that I bought you. Oh, that's right. It's your car. Well, what if I do this to your car? And he like hits the front end with the bat, and he's like, oh yeah, that's right. I bought you that car, but it's your car. And he's like, so I hit it again. And he just starts laughing, and he's like, but that was just a heated argument. And I'm like, holy shit.
Oh yeah, he is a deranged young man.
Oh, it's crazy. Oh, I tell you, it's so nuts. But like every commercial they'd bring up, they have like a disclaimer. They're like, he didn't get paid for this. He wasn't a part of this. It's like, he got paid for the first one. You guys just added an hour and like bash him about how he's confessing it this time instead of being like, hey, you know, hypothetically, if he was older, it's like, it's the one thing that, I mean, obviously I know there were people that were happy that he got found not guilty when it happened.
Yeah.
But there's no way, if you watch that, there's no way you can sit there and be like, yeah, there's no way he did it.
Yeah, at this point, I'm pretty sold on he totally did it. And he confessed. He confessed.
Yeah, and even the people who thought that he was innocent, I mean, there still had to be a part in your mind where you would think about it and be like, yeah, everything says he's guilty. But it's like, I understand, like, the tensions at the time, and, like, it was just set up perfectly for him to get off. I mean, he had everything going his way. He was famous. They just had the LA riots and the Rodney King beating, and there was just so much stuff that was going that where it just seemed like, and especially once they got that cop on the stand where he lied about saying the N-word and not liking black people, and then he pleaded the fifth to everything.
Yeah.
It was like, it was just, everything played out perfect for him to get found not guilty.
And I watched the People versus OJ, that 3-hour, 4-hour deal thing.
Yeah, I saw all those.
Which, by the way, which is really awesome. But those black jurors were a couple of them were like, no matter what, I was saying not guilty.
Oh, yeah. And that was the biggest mistake. Like, I mean, they had a lot of mistakes from the prosecution, but the biggest one was, we're going to load the juror with black people because I'm going to make them see it. It's like, seriously? Like, you don't know what's going on in LA right now? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just, it was doomed from the get-go.
The world is screwed up. Here's the thing. And this is going to sound douchey, I know. But on some level, you have to expect that. I don't agree with it, but I completely understand on some level where if you're a part of society that continues to get pissed on and pissed on and pissed on, you're going to look for your opportunity to, like, piss on somebody else. And that was the perfect thing. Like you said, you load the juror up with, a lot of African Americans. And like, they came out of there after those interviews and said, no matter what, I was finding him not guilty.
Yeah, well, I mean, even the one guy, after they read the verdict, when he was walking off, he gave, the fist and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just.
So.
Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, I still remember all that because me and Miranda watched all those things, and I'm just sitting there like, oh yeah, I remember. Watching the chase off and on. And she's like, how do you remember that? And I was like, because I was hoping it was over because that was the night of the Hall of Fame induction for the NFL. So I was like, they already screwed up the basketball game. I was hoping they weren't going to mess up. Oh. And she just like looks at me. She's like, seriously? And I'm like, hey, little things like that, I remember stuff.
I could totally, I just totally pictured Miranda's face saying, seriously.
Oh, yeah. Because I get that quite a bit. Or she'll just be like, or she'll make a comment where I'll be like, who won Super Bowl, whatever, and I'll just be like, oh, well, that was so-and-so beat so-and-so, and she's like, how do you remember that? And I'm like, I don't know.
It's in our DNA.
Yeah, it's just like, I just do, I don't know how that, but you can be like, hey, when's my birthday? And I'm like,
let me look at my phone, just for a second. I get it, I'm the same way. I don't know, I think that's gonna be it for tonight, folks. I think I gotta go eat dinner, and Kevin's got us sound all screwed up, and I don't have anything else to talk about, so that's it too. Try to get that fixed. Check it out.
Like I said, I don't know. I was going through the settings, and I have no idea what to do, so I was like, all right.
It is, I could go through it with you. Maybe I'll get with you. Maybe if we can actually get you on. We'll check it out before we start next week.
All right. Because I sat there, and last week I just plugged it in, and everything was fine. I didn't have to do anything, and then for whatever reason, tonight when I went to plug it in, it's like, using computer's audio.
Yeah, so what you have to do is you have to go to your settings, and it's a whole deal. I'll walk through it with you, but it's really simple. It's not a huge deal, but you just have to switch it from your inputs being your sound and audio input and outputs being your computer to being whatever that's called. Okay. It's super simple. Anyhow, till next time, buddy. I'll talk to you next week where Gary will probably be back. It was good to actually have just a show with you and I again. But we like Gary, right? I mean, or do you want him gone? Because I could totally make it happen.
No, I like Gary.
All right. We'll be back with the Axeman next week, and Gary should be back as his daughter's done with basketball. I know he's going to be head coaching his son, which is pretty awesome. Congrats, Gary, for that. But he should be good moving forward on Fridays. If not, screw him. Me and Kevin got it under control. But yeah, we'll fix the sound. If you guys want to give us a listen, download us on iTunes and Google Play. You can find us on YouTube, here on Facebook, and on Twitter. And starting next week, Instagram, I believe, we'll have that set up. So we're continuing to get bigger. So we'll see you guys next week. Kevin, I'll talk to you later, buddy.